Oh, we take a time jump today. What's up, folks? As per usual, welcome back to the show. This one is going to be interesting to break down for all of you. You know, nothing too heavy-handed out there, all right? No hard feelings, just a fun talking point. Stemming back, let's all take a time jump back to 2014. Yes, we're talking about former Cloud9 Hiko, now, of course, with 100 Thieves, as we are all talking about the Tenz buyout of $1 million, currently belonging to Cloud9 on loan at the point of me recording to Sentinels. It's going to be a 1-month loan before he returns to Cloud9 and see who wants to potentially pay $1 million to buy him out. Shroud's talked about this, Dr. Disrespect's talked about this, Hiko's also mentioned this, and I want to play for you guys a few clips of Hiko's thoughts on can a guy like Tenz get out of Cloud9. There's certainly no get out of jail free card. That might not be the best wording, but I think you guys understand what I'm saying. Is Hiko actually mentions his past stint with Cloud9, and if you think Tenz is going anywhere easily, that's just not the case.
As somebody who's been on Cloud9 and knows how the esports politic works, if you think that Tenz is getting off of Cloud9, you are sadly mistaken until his contract is up. So even if we wanted Tenz, it probably wouldn't even been an option. I don't want to get into too much politics. I don't want to really air the dirty laundry I have with Cloud9, but I mean, if you're interested, there was, you know, me, there were some other CS players that you might know in Valorant today that, you know, had similar problems. But yeah, I will just say that if you think Tenz is getting off C9 until his contract is out, I think you're probably sadly mistaken. But I mean, I'm going to be proven wrong. Anyway, so people that said, why didn't you just get Tenz? Well,
to which Shroud, who has also been with Cloud9, and you guys got to realize, we're talking about 2014 when Hiko was last with them right before I Buy Power. Right before I Buy Power, which is just crazy to think about. That's how long ago that freaking was. So yes, times have changed. We want to hope that treatment of players have also changed, but that Cloud9 old CSGO roster, Hiko goes on to describe, had its own issues as well, but Shroud even giving his short thoughts.
Hiko says the opposite based on experience. Really hard to leave with C9. And 100 Thieves tried to get Tenz. Yeah, I mean, that was a while ago, okay? I do agree C9 made that difficult in the past. I do agree with what Hiko said. But that was like 6 years ago, man. Like that's you can't I don't view it the same way. I just don't.
I think it's also crazy too. I know this is just random out of the blue, but you've consistently had over 100,000 viewers watching these matches.
Yeah,
it's wild to think about, honestly.
And then finally, I'll play for you guys. It was actually a Reddit clip all the way back to over 7 years ago when Hiko talked about the internal struggles, not necessarily with the organization, but in general with the roster as well. The, changes were not being made. He wasn't allowed to make those changes, so he made the change elsewhere, to go elsewhere instead. Again, back to 2014, Cloud9 Counter-Strike.
I expressed my uncomfortableness, and people knew my stance on everything for the entire time. Like I didn't blindside them with this. They knew this was coming. They knew I wanted to make a change, and unfortunately it didn't happen. So I had to be the one to make the change. Now, again, this is not blindsided. This is not out of the blue. I didn't do anything shady. It just happened to happen how it did. And now they ended up replacing me with Shazam after I left. And now I am still on Cloud9 contract and setting front of heart. So there's like the whole story. It was never really a personal problem. I'm not going to say I was greatest of friends with everybody on that team, but I mean, everyone got along when it came time to matter. The problem was more or less like our roles nobody was like everyone was kind of uncomfortable because our roles were so weird. Like we have Sean being forced to be an opper who didn't want to op, and he didn't even want to play anymore if he had to be an opper. And then we have this weird mix of like me and Shroud are lurkers, and then Semphis would be the one entering, and then Jordan would like change his mind. Like sometimes he wanted to lurk and sometimes he wanted to entry. And there was just like a bunch of just problems on like in holes in our strategy and holes in our defaults. So like, I don't know, like, and this is, I mean, talking with Brax, like, this is the same reason why he said he left in the first place. Like, we were able to contend for a top spot.
I'm
we were able to.
Are we just gonna 3-man this guy?
Just give me 1 second. We were able to
You don't
like
need to yell at me, Hiko. All right, stop yelling.
we were able to perform at individual events, but when it comes time to like being a consistent top team, like it would never happen because like our team was so random at times that it would be very hard for us to actually, compete, and it would be very hard for us to actually like stay consistent because everyone would change their stuff and we would keep our stuff. Like I think towards the beginning of our team, we had like that X factor, like that dark host thing. We had very scrimmy as we call like in America, scrimmy being like not very stratted, but more on the fly stuff. So we were very scrimmy. We were very just catching people off guard. And then once we kind of switched and we went back to like trying to work together as a team and trying to have defaults and trying to have executes, well, we're trying to go toe to toe with people who have, well, better executes and better strats and people that are more comfortable at doing those things. So like, it's weird. I mean, I just saw somebody said like Shroud even admitted like the main problem with my team, the main problem with Cloud9 before and probably still now has always been teamwork. It's always been teamwork. Everybody's on different pages. Everybody is on like everybody has their own like things they're good at, but nobody was ever on the same page. Nobody was ever like, okay, I'm gonna flash for you here, go peek and do this. Like it was never. We never were able to kind of figure out exactly what it was we needed to be that consistent top team. So
that was to give you guys context of his prior instance with Cloud9 and why he says there's not going to be an easy out for a guy like Tenz. People will have to pay. And then you look at the flip side of that, rightfully so. A guy like Tenz is extremely valuable, likely the most valuable player in Valorant right now. And if you're Cloud9, yeah, you're paying the man a salary. You saw the talent in him when you first signed him to CSGO, and then a new FPS came up and you were like, wow, he's even more valuable than he was before. So yes, they're going to charge a pretty penny. How big that pretty penny will be, we will find out. But Hiko, Shroud, they talk about this and their old instances with Cloud9. We will see what Cloud9 does now with the most valuable player in Valorant Esports. Until next time. That's ironic. You're always here with me. Drink some water, drink some coffee. I'll catch you guys back here next time. Take care.